And hello and welcome back, guys. Guys, are you tired of being overwhelmed by all these choices, not knowing what to get in the research tree? Well, today's your lucky day. You've come to the right place because today we are going to do an in-depth tech research tree breakdown, and we're going to take a look at every single research in the game, hopefully. I'm going to be trying to cover this in as much detail as I can without it getting long-winded. Now, as you know, the Paths to Power DLC has been out for a couple of days. I've had a chance to play quite a few games now, and to try to get a feel for how tech plays right now, where they're currently at. I feel I have a decent feel of how the macro game works, what to kind of prioritize here in the research tree, mostly at least, and today I would like to share that with you. And some general notes here before beginning. I will try to first make some general notes about the research tree, a little bit how it works, how it's structured, and then I will try to go into each tier here in chronological order. So I will go from tier 1 all the way up to tier 5, and I will try to kind of discuss each tier in as much detail as I can. I will try to highlight what researchers are sort of the most, well, at least the ones that I tend to prioritize the most. So the ones that are really high priority, I will try to talk a little bit about those in like conjunction to make this a little bit more, manageable. Can't go into as much detail about everything. And I will also try as the best I can to put all of these researchers into the context of a real game. So talking about all of these things in isolation is interesting and all, but you're actually going to play a Sins of a Solar Empire game at some point in the future, and it wouldn't help if I didn't say, at least something about what these researched technologies are going to do for you in the context of a real game. So let's just first try to get into some general notes. I'm actually in the dev exe, which gives me this debug mode. So don't worry that I don't have anything researched here yet. I have infinite research points and also infinite money to research. So I'm going to be able to unlock this without doing anything. So just some general notes here about the research tree. I'm mostly going to be using the compressed view because that's what I'm used to, and it will prevent me from having to scroll a bunch. This is also what I use when I play. I think it's for those of you who don't know, you can actually toggle compressed versus like extended view here up on this button here up in the top left, and this will allow you to toggle between these modes. You can use whatever you like. I use the compressed view because I've played tech enough now to know all the relevant researches to the point where I can play like this, and I actually think it's helpful to not have to scroll a lot. I will also use it here in this video mostly because it is it's easier to not have to scroll here either, and we can actually get an overview of every single thing. But I'm going to go into the more extended view here because I want to try to talk a little bit about the different subcategories here. So, of course, the tech research tree is divided into two separate categories. We have civilian research, broadly speaking, which has to do with your empire, of course, and then military research, of course, which has to do with your military technologies. The civilian research is divided into three subcategories. The first here is industry, which roughly has to do with most basically like building your economy in general. So you're gonna have trade ports here, you have mining upgrades, and also some other stuff, production of ships, some increases in productions of ships. We have annexation, which has to do with colonization, power, and planet development. Policy, which has to do with influence and cultural and minor faction influence. So those are the three tiers for civilian research. We have military research, where we have mobilization. Mobilization has to do with the training and development of more ships and also ship experience. We have experimental design, which has to do with the development of new types of ships. So new ship types and also starbase items, starbase stuff. And we also have armament, which has to do with the offensive capabilities of your ships, offensive upgrades for your ships. And actually we have a fourth here. I thought there were 3 here as well, but it's actually 4. So we have engineering, which, yeah, I guess has to do with the defensive technologies for your ships. So those are the general subcategories, and we also have so that's one general thing that you should know about the research tree. Another thing you're going to notice here is there's actually some sub tiers here in the research tree. Something that's very useful to know is you're going to see here that these blocks, the research tree here is divided into these blocks. So if you go from the top down, you can, for example, see here in the military research tree, to the absolute far left, we're going to have the Garda unlock. We're going to have the Prova jump computer. We're going to have military grade rounds and also hull reinforcement. So these are all of our upgrades here to the far left. And what you're going to notice is in isolation, all of these upgrades are going to have the same cost. So they're all going to cost, excluding this thing here that you get for teching up, it's going to cost 400 credits, 25 metal, and 50 crystal. And if you look down here, this is actually going to cost the exact same. So you're going to have 400 credits, 25 metal, and 50 crystal cost for this. And of course, the same thing is going to go for all of these things here at the far left. And you're going to see that for each jump that you make here in these lines, so to speak, this is going to hold. So all of these things here in this line, I hope you can see my cursor, but all these things here in this line are going to have the same cost and also the same development time. So yeah, I forgot to mention that here, but the research time for all of these things is 90 seconds, which is going to be the same thing here. And also the cost is going to be the same. If we jump another step, this is also going to hold. So we have 120 seconds research time and also the same cost. And this is going to hold throughout. All right, so that's something that's very useful to know. I'm not sure if this includes exotics cost, so cost for exotics. I don't think it does. Some researchers cost exotics. I think that's an extra added cost to these researchers sometimes. So that's a slight exception, but yeah, that's the thing. And this also holds for civilian research. So this gives the research tree some structure. It gives you a way to order these researches, to know a little bit about how much money you're going to have to spend and also how much time it's going to take to research, when it's going to be worth it to get research rate, and so on. All right, I actually have to bring out, I actually had a small notepad here for for this initial parts of the video. So I'm going to have to, I don't want to miss anything here on the initial parts of the video. Let's see. Right. Okay, so we covered the build cost and build times. We covered the subcategories here within the research tree. Now, the final thing I would like to just say before going into each tier in more detail is that just some general ideas about what order you want to take up. Now, in my opinion, you're always going to want to start with, you're going to want to go tier 1 and you're going to want to go tier 1 for civilian and military as fast as possible. So of course, as soon as the game starts, you're gonna want to try to tech into civilian 1 generally to start with, and just start getting stuff here. And you're also immediately, as soon as you can, right after, you want to go into military 1 as well, mainly because you want to get increased supply. So that's very important. So So that's like the start of the game. Now, after tier 1, you're going to reach usually a very important decision, which is do you go civilian 2 or military 2 first? Now, this is usually a very impactful decision in the game, and there's no easy answer here. I'm going to just say that the general thing that you're going to want to consider when making this decision, or just the decision in general of when you want to tech up in either military or civilian research, is you're going to want to consider the distance to your opponent. So the distance to your opponent roughly determines when you're going to, well, of course that determines when you're going to be facing them in a confrontation, usually. So if you're closer to your opponent, generally you want to prioritize military research, right? You're going to want to prioritize military research and the building of ships. And if you're further away from your opponent, if you have the time, you're going to want to prioritize civilian research. And also just building economy in general. Now, there are of course, some exceptions to this. If you're close to an opponent, like if you start off the game and you're you're very close to your opponent right from the start of the game, it might be defensible to go civilian 2 before military 1 in certain situations, but it's greedy, right? It's greedy, and when I say greedy, I don't say it negatively necessarily. With greedy, I just mean that you're taking a risk, right? And the risk is if your opponent catches on to your greed and pounces on it with enough aggression, he might be able to kill you, right? So it might be a risky move. But there are some situations where I think it might be correct. So if you get a good choke point, for instance, if you get a good choke point, it might be defensible to go civilian 2 before military 2 because, mainly because you have like the supply. You might not need the extra supply as early, because with a good choke point, you can rely a little bit more on defense and fortifying your position while you're actually building your economy quicker than your opponent. And that might give you an edge, like in the long run, even if you spawn close to your opponent. So that's a decision you're going to have to make. Now, next, after your tier 2, that's a general thing. I would say also as a rule of thumb, don't always follow this rule, but as a rule of thumb, I think it's healthy to not too often go, you don't want to lag behind 2 steps with either research. So for example, if you're civilian 2 and you're just military 1, I think it's a good idea usually to go military 2 before you tech up further with civilian research. So you generally don't want to end up like in the situation, for example, where you're I think at least usually you don't want to end up with civilian 3 and military 1. So you're lagging behind 2 steps with military research, and in general also in the other direction, I think. So you don't want to be like usually in military 3 while only being in civilian 1 research. Now of course there are exceptions to this, but as a general rule of thumb, I would like not do this too often. It is well, the main thing I think is because you can research. One reason for this is because you can research civilian research and military research simultaneously, right? So it's possible to research these simultaneously. So and without them conflicting with each other. So I mean, if I research trade ports, for instance, here, I'm not going to be able to research something else in the civilian tree, right? But I am going to be able to research something else in the military tree, of course. So I can research trade ports while also researching basic provisioning, for instance. So the fact that I can research these 2 simultaneously is going to let me, get some more efficiency in terms of time. I'm going to be researching 2 things simultaneously instead of just researching 1 thing simultaneously, you know. And that means that if I lag behind too much on either research, it might be that I'm losing efficiency in terms of research speed or research time. So as a general rule of thumb, don't fall behind too much in either tier. And there are exceptions, of course, if you're under heavy fire and, well, you're that constantly. It might be worth going military 3 while still being at civilian 1. So that's just one example, but there are, of course, exceptions to this rule of thumb. And yeah, so that's that was the thing. I don't think there was any more. Was there any more general stuff I wanted to cover here? One second. Let's see. Right. Yeah. So I was on what order to tech up. Well, you're gonna reach civilian 3 and so at some point here. After your tier 2, you're gonna want to go tier 3 in either category, and this also depends, of course, on how safe you're feeling. If you're civilian 2 and also military 2, when you're deciding whether to go military 3 first or civilian 3 first, also consider how safe you are, same as with from tier 1 to tier 2. So no weird stuff there. Now I would advise, I think, that once you're tier 3, so once you're civilian 3 and military 3, my impression is that you should have a very strong bias with tech to go civilian research first. I can't see many situations where you would actually go as a military technology, so you take up to military 3, or sorry, so situations where you take up into military 4 before you take up into civilian 4. And the main reason for this, I think, is Quornium. Quornium comes in tier 4, which means that you're going to be... and also a lot of military research requires Quornium for tech. So for instance, getting a Titan requires Quornium. Getting the 2K supply requires Quornium. Getting, well, if you're Primacy, if you're getting Novalith cannons, we're going to require Quornium to build. And these are very important technologies here for military research, which means that you might want to consider going civilian 4 first, and maybe even civilian 5, as we will see later. However, there are some exceptions here, I think. I mean, if you get a gas giant, for instance, if you can research gas giant colonization, gas giants actually survey for Quornium. So if you can get Quornium from gas giants, then you might be able to skip going for civilian 4 and get your own Quornium with the refineries, and just get the Quornium to get some stuff here anyways. So that can be helpful. Be aware of gas giants, everyone. Gas giants survey for Quornium, which is very, very nice. All right, so that is I think that is the general thing. Also, I would also prioritize civilian 5. I think tech civilian 5 technologies are very, very good. They have some very good stuff here, as we will see when we talk about it more specifically. Military 5, also very strong stuff. Actually, I'm not sure here. I'm not gonna say anything about tier 5 yet, I think. I have my personal preference of prioritizing civilian 5 over military 5. But I realize now that I say it and that I talk about it, that this is really just a personal preference. I don't really have a good argument why I mean, there are some really good stuff here in military 5 too. So yeah, maybe I speak too soon if I say that civilian 5 is better to prioritize. So, but yeah, you're gonna have to use your own judgment on that one, I think. Okay, but without further ado, let's get into the tiers. So now we're gonna talk a little bit more concretely about specific tiers. Oh, and one more thing, I'm in the game here as Tech Primacy. But I'm actually gonna save the faction-specific researches for last. So all of the primacy exclusive technologies and the enclave exclusive technologies will be saved to the end of the video because I didn't know how to structure it otherwise. So yeah, this is just how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna skip those. And yeah, well, there's a lot of researches to go through. So, and I'm not sure how long this is going to take. I hope this doesn't take too long and I jabber on for too long about this. But we're just going to have to try and see how this goes. So let's see. Well, let's start at tier 1 then. So we're going to go into tier 1. We're going to research tier 1. I'm actually going to just turn on the game here so that I actually research it. We're going to research tier 1, and usually we start with tier 1, right? Civilian 1 is like the main thing that we want to start off with. Now, in Civilian 1, I think that there are a few things here that are like more priority than others. I would say getting the influence is very important in tier 1. Influence scales incredibly well. Gives you access to a lot of minor faction technologies. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think I've revealed the minor factions here yet. So we're not going to be able to see those in this. But in any case, the influence is going to help you with a lot of things. Using your influence constantly is very, very powerful. So for example, just to give 2 examples, we have the colony seed nanites, which is going to allow capital ships to colonize planets early without an accompanying colony frigate, which is very useful and very good. And we also have the Aluxian credits, so you get a planet. You can get a planet item from the Aluxians, which you can place on your planet, which is going to give 1 credit per second, which is really, really huge early game. 1 credit per second is a lot to get from such a like low investment of 1 influence. So influence very, very important. Another important research is Asteroid Mercantile Mandate. Asteroid Mercantile Mandate gives a lot of extra credits from your early captured asteroids. Asteroids give a lot of asteroids are very powerful early. They pay themselves back rather quickly. So this is also very high priority. Gives extra income from your asteroids. Very, very nice. Definitely pick this up. Some other things I would like to prioritize. If you ever see a derelict, you're gonna want to get this as well. Derelict specialist, very, very nice. Capital ship experience is very, very important. Now even more important now that after the Paths to Power patch, of course, capital ships are going to scale even heavier with levels. So capital ships gain even more tankiness and durability now with levels than they did before. And also just in general, capturing the derelicts faster. Like if you're playing against opponents that are coming after you, speed is very, very important. You want to be on the move, capturing new planets. You don't want to lag behind capturing an old derelict for too long. So pick this up immediately as soon as you see a derelict that you have to capture. Very, very important. Like whenever you see a derelict, I always get this first. Always get this to be ready to get derelicts. Next, of course, we have the mining technologies. These are good now. Now after the these before the Paths to Power update, these actually were quite mediocre. They didn't give too much returns. You still got them because they were very cheap. So I still always got these even before. But now that they actually scale with population, getting this is very, very nice. Especially since also since after the home world, a lot of your economy after the Paths to Power update is coming from your home world due to your home world having such large population and scaling so incredibly well. Getting the surface mining rate per 100 population bonus is very, very huge. So these are very good. They also scale along with your population on your worlds. Definitely pick these up. I would pick these up after, usually. I usually pick these up after I get the influence and the asteroid mercantile mandate. So these are kind of the last thing here that I would like to get. And well, with that said, we also have the trade porch. So well, trade has become a lot better now, I think, after the Path to Power update as well. And because the trade ports have gotten much cheaper, I think, I'm not sure, I'm not gonna repeat the exact cost here, but well, trade ports now cost as much. Well, trade ports cost about 20% less now. Yeah, I think that's the exact thing. They cost 20% less now, which is really huge. They don't give less income at all. So I actually think trade has gotten a lot better now with this update, and I would really recommend like not skipping trade anymore. Like you're of course, if you're in aggressive position, you're not going to want to get trade right away. But whenever you're in a position to build economy, I think getting some trade is very, very nice. Especially since tech actually can be quite credit starved early now. A lot of tech stuff costs a lot of credits, and trade ports are great early game for generating a lot of credits. Also, as the game progresses, trade is very useful because, well, early game, you're going to have a lot of trouble with your credits. So a lot of your stuff for tech is going to cost a lot of credits. But later in the game, it actually changes. So because usually by the later stages of the game, your planets are going to generate a lot of credits just from their commerce, especially together with the culture, as we will see later. So that usually means you have an abundance of credits with tech in the later stages of the game, and then you can simply transition the trade points from your trade porch and your in your trade window here to all go into mining. So usually what ends up happening is if you have early trade, it also goes into credits early so that you can afford all of your stuff. And then once the planets start generating an abundance of credits, you're going to transition all of those export points here into metal and crystal. So getting trade is very flexible in that sense. It's very, very nice. And also cheaper now as well. Trade has become very, very good. It's still expensive to set up, so be careful about getting this too early if you're under heavy fire. Like even now the trade ports are cheaper, they are still expensive to get. So, and they take quite a while to pay back still, even if it's less than before. So be careful about getting this too early and be too greedy. Now, of course, if you're okay, and now we have some planet development stuff here. So we have Arctic colonization, primordial colonization, volcanic colonization. Of course, if you're ever in the situation where you're gonna want to capture one of these planets, always get this, of course. Get this as soon as you can. You don't want to skip planets. And try to get them preemptively as well, so that you don't have to wait for the research to complete. We have chemical plant unlock. If you ever run into a primordial planet and get a primordial planet, always get this. This is an insane planet item. It's really, really good. 25% bonus income rate per 100 population. With primordial planets already giving a ton of credit income. It's really, really insane. This is a really good planet item just for the commerce credit income rate. If you have a primordial planet, basically always try to get this. This is very, very good. Very, very good item. And lastly, so I would say all of the researches that I've covered so far are very high priority. The tier 1 civilian research for tech is very, very good in general. Tech has extremely good tier 1 economy overall. Like, that's one general thing I can say about tech. Tech has an extremely good early game tier 1 economy. They generate far more resources than any other factions from tier 1. And they have very, very good economic technologies from tier 1. So yeah, tech tier 1 eco is very, very strong. So yeah, a lot of high prior stuff here in tier 1. You basically want to try to pick all of this stuff up as soon as you can. Um, well, with some situational stuff, maybe trade, you shouldn't always pick this up because it's, well, it's still a bit expensive to set up, even if it's very good. So be careful with this. The only things I would like save for later is, well, you have this focused exploration stuff, which gives, which unlocks scouts find minor factions faster, and you also get 4 scouts. I mean, this is, yeah, this is very, this is a bit weird because this research costs more than actually getting just 4 scouts yourself. So just buying 4 scouts is actually cheaper than this research, which means I don't usually get this. This is very low on my priority list. It can be nice to find minor factions sooner. Maybe if you're in a team, maybe one of your players should get this if you're communicating in order to find the minor factions fast. That could perhaps be a play, but in general, when playing solo or playing for yourself, I wouldn't ever get this. This is not too efficient, I think. We also have, oh well, right. I'm going to save the faction exclusive researches for later. So let's skip this for now. All right. So now let's get into the military research. So in military research tier 1, we are going to be first looking at almost always, well, I would say always, we're going to be looking at basic provisioning. So one general theme that you're going to see is that when it comes to military research, higher supply, so the higher supply cap research is going to be on the high priority list every single time. In Sins 1, you were actually taxed for getting a higher supply count. In Sins 2, that's not the case, which means that, and having a larger army is such a huge advantage, which means that you're basically always going to be trying to pick this up as soon as possible. Having higher supply, having bigger army, always very, very good. Always pick up basic provisioning first when you're going tier 1 military. Well, that's what I do. I can't remember the last time this wasn't the first thing I researched in military 1. Next up, I'm gonna take a look at these. We have some defensive technologies for our ships. These are very good. You should pick this up. Don't pick this up too early though, because especially now that the early game economy for after Paths of Power, the early game economy is slower, which means that you want to be very selective of where you spend your money. So we have Advanced Metallurgy, which gives increased armor strength. We have Hull Reinforcement, which gives extra hull points. And we also have military grade rounds, which gives some extra weapon damage. Now, getting all of these is very nice. Sometimes if you're fighting already at tier 1 and you're constantly building ships, I would probably research these because I would try to research these because these are nice early bonuses. Like if you're in a fight with your opponent and it's quite even, and you manage to get this, this might swing the tides. So, but if you're not under heavy fire immediately from tier 1, I usually skip these a little bit. I might get one of them or some of them, but not more. And I usually save these for and try to get these by the time I go tier 2 military. Because it saves a little bit of money, and the early game is mostly, I think, early game is very important to develop your economy as tech, which means that spending money on these without being in a fight, without being in an actual fight, is actually a waste of resources a lot of the time. So if you're getting these already from tier 1, you definitely want to make sure that you're playing aggressively to try to take trades with your opponent. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get any value out of these. Okay, and we also have a couple of extra ships. We have first the Guard unlock. Now, Well, as some of you may know, I'm actually a huge fan of the Garda. I think that Garda is an excellent ship now when playing from the position of aggro in competitive 5v5 games. Now, I think, and I mean, just in general, when you're playing like in a position where you're starting off close to an opponent, I think the Garda is a situational ship, but it's actually good in so many situations. Like, it's good against corvettes if you get the if you, yeah, it's very good against corvettes, and it also helps a lot against missiles. So I actually really like the Garda. Yeah, it's so I would pick this up against anyone who builds corvettes and also anyone who builds missiles. Also against strikecraft, they help a lot. So if you see drone hosts, if you see someone who starts with a carrier like the Halcyon or the Sova, getting a couple of Gardas can help against the strikecraft as well. The trick is to get the right amount of them, so you need to get like the proper amount so that you don't waste money, because once they serve their intended purpose, they're not very excellent at doing other stuff. Well, at least not until you get Garda Mark II. Once you get the Garda Mark II, it's actually can actually be quite nice, but before that, try to not get too many of these. It can be risky. Correction. Try to scout and get a balanced amount of these relative to what your opponent has. Okay, next up we have the Shriken gunship corvette. This has gotten a little bit better with the recent patch, because you can get the early corvette shields, and also they in general the ships have gotten a little bit more durable. This was the weakness of the Shriken corvette before, that it just died way too quickly. Now the Shriken corvette has this weakness still. It's still quite flimsy as a ship. It dies very quickly, especially to AoE. But I would say it's still a nice ship to have in the early game when you're fighting with your opponents, especially if your opponent's building light frigates like skirmishers, disciples, or kobolds. Getting Shrikens with the Sova carrier can help turn an early fight into your advantage. The Prova jump computer. This gives minus phase jump charge time to corvettes for 75%. So I don't usually get this because I mean, well, it's actually not bad. It can be quite nice for stopping your opponent from killing your scouts if you're actually microing your scouts. But in practice, I don't usually get this. I usually tend to try to spend my money on something else, and scouts jump quite fast anyway, so I don't usually find too much use of this. We have the Sidar level 1. There's actually a level 2 version of this, which comes in tier 2, but for which is actually the one that I think is good. I would say that this one in isolation is not great, but you need to get this. You can see if you go to the extended view here first, you can see that the Sidar is... maybe I should use this actually. I think this is actually a good idea. Yeah, so we can see the arrows. Yeah, maybe I should use this actually. I think it's a good idea. I'm gonna start doing that. Yeah, so we're going through the civilian research, and we're gonna go... Yeah, we can start using the extended table from here. I think it's actually a bit more useful, a little bit more pedagogical perhaps. But in case, the Sidar level 1 actually upgrades to Sidar level 2 here at tier 2. And the Sidar level 2 I think is really good, because what Sidar level 1 does is it can identify phase jumps from one phase lane away. So you can detect jumps coming into your planet. So yeah, let me repeat this. So what the Sidar does is it unlocks an ability on your orbital research stations. So it gives all of your orbital research stations the Sidar ability, which allows a planet which has a research station around its orbit to detect any phase jumps coming in from one jump away. So you're gonna be like given a heads up on planets where you have the orbital research stations. Now, getting the heads up as the ships are jumping into your planet, just from one jump away, actually, that can help a little bit, but usually by that time it may be too late to respond. So I wouldn't say this is too great. Now, yeah, I'm just gonna jump ahead to tier 2. So in tier 2, you're gonna have the Sidar level 2, which gives a two phase jump heads up. So you're going to be detecting phase jumps from 2 jumps away from a planet where you have a research station. And this is really strong because 2 jumps is a lot of time to like try to set up some attempt at defending. So this is actually very nice. I don't usually, this is usually something I get later in the game. So Sidar is actually very underutilized, and it's actually very good, but it's usually not something that I get early. So by the time you are tier 1 and tier 2, for example, I don't usually get this, but once you're getting up to like tier 3, tier 4, then getting Sidar can actually be quite nice, I think. It's situational, I think, because there's other things competing. It's competing with other researchers by that point. But I actually think it can be quite nice. Yeah. Oh, I realized I should be saying what is the most high prio on each thing. I should be more clear about that. So what I think is the most high prio here, of course, are the mercantile envoys, the asteroid mercantile mandate, and also, well, basically, yeah, in the civilian research tree, I think that everything is high prio except for these 2, focused exploration and extreme xenophobia. These are some, like, yeah, these are like a cut below these other researches, and I would be not prioritizing these 2. As for military 1 research, this is super high prio, getting extra supply, and these other researches, especially these increased damage and metallurgy, are a little bit lower. Should be prioritized if you are in heavy fighting with your opponent and need that little bit of extra ship power. And these ships, of course, I'm not going to talk too much about them, but too much more about them, but if you need a ship, get it, right? So but it's situational, so it's not like the most high prio always, but these are situational unlocks, as are these. Sidar, situational, this I don't usually get, and Sidar level 2, very, very nice, very good, but usually I get it later in the game. Okay, so that's it for tier 1. Now we're going to go into tier 2. But before that, I'm going to take a short break. And hello and welcome back again. We're about to go into the tier 2. I realized that during the break that there's a lot of things we have to go through here. So yeah, I have to really prioritize, I think, what I'm trying to talk about. And I had some thoughts, so we'll see if this works. But we're about to go into tier 2. I actually changed my mind again. I'm mostly going to do the compressed view still. If needed, I will go into the extended view, but it's just much easier for me to get an overview this way, because this is what I'm used to once again. So this is what I'm going to do. But without further ado, let's go into tier 2. So in tier 2, we're gonna once again have some priority targets. We're going to take a look at, once we go into tier 2, we're definitely going to want to take a look at increased supply. Tier 2 gives a lot of increased supply, which is a huge power spike. So we're definitely going to want to take a look at very fast the increased supply provisioning doctrine 500 supply. Once we're pushing 500 supply, we're also going to immediately want to prioritize this to get 1000 supply. So very, very important priorities for supply here once again. Some other priority targets I would take a look at is the Uranite rounds. So whenever you're like thinking about upgrading your ships, I would take a look at these Uranite rounds, which gives increased damage, and also the fortified superstructure and the efficient generators. But above anything else, after increased supply, as the research tree stands right now here for military tier 2, you're gonna want to take a look at these. Like the frigate shields, the corvette shields were tier 2 even before, but now, after the Paths to Power update, frigate shields have been moved down a tier, and this is absolutely massive. This is absolutely massive. I don't know. I don't think they even nerfed this research in any way. All they did, like, it's the exact same thing as far as I can see. The only difference is they moved it down one tier, which I think is absolutely ludicrously strong. I mean, after you get the increased supply, you're definitely gonna want to pick this up as soon as you can, especially if you're in like a position where you're fighting your opponent and you want increased, like you want your ships to be more durable. I mean, 400 like max shield here, just as a like as an instant boost, is absolutely massive. This is a major priority. Like, get this as soon as you can. If you're fighting, if you're under any danger of fighting, if you're doing any frigate-oriented strat, get this as soon as you can. Same goes for corvette shields, although corvettes usually have a little bit more frigates than corvettes, so this, I would say, takes higher priority. So those are the most top like priority targets. The increased supply here and the shields for your ships are super high prio. And then we have the fortified superstructure and the Uranite rounds are quite nice as some other upgrades. You also want to take a look at the improved radiation bomb. The improved radiation bomb is very nice if you have 2 or more capital ships and your opponent is doing frigates. Improved radiation bomb can be very nice for early combat. And also, if you're doing a Hushiko oriented strat, if you're going for Hushikos, you're of course going to get repair droids unlock, followed by the Hushiko robotics cruiser. It's actually, it doesn't say so here in the research tree, even in the extended view, but a demand for getting the Hushiko robotics cruiser is actually to get the repair droids down here. So you're gonna want to get the repair droids before you get the Hushikos, and sometimes, even if you don't get Hushikos, you're going to want to get the repair droids, because the repair droids not only gives you access to get the Hushikos, but they also upgrade your retrofit base. So if you get this, it will give the retrofit base on that you can build in orbit around your planets the repair ability, which is going to repair your ships. And this is one of the more, I mean, this is one of the strongest defensive tools that TEC has, access to the repair platform. Like, if you have 2 or 3 repair platforms, attacking into a TEC is super difficult. So this is very, very strong defensively, even if you don't want to get the Hushikos right away. This can be very, very good. Now, so, but yeah, that's basically what I would like to say, mostly about tier 1. But going a little bit into detail about some of these maybe less prioritized ones, we have the basic crew training, which is going to make your capital ships, well, your capital ships are going to basically spawn at level 2 once you get this. This is quite nice if you're doing a capital ship oriented strat early, or, well, perhaps even later, and you have a lot of exotics. You can pick this up situationally if you're doing a cap ship oriented strat, but situational for that for sure. You have the Garda Mark II unlock. I really, really like this personally, but also situational. What's nice about this is that, well, first of all, it makes the Garda kill corvettes very quickly. But what it does is it gives the Garda a small extra autocannon, which is very good against corvettes. So if you're facing a lot of corvettes, you're always gonna wanna. Well, I think it's very efficient to build Gardas and get this as a complement. It's gonna absolutely murder corvettes with the new autocannon that they get, and the autocannon also does decently against, like semi-decently at least, against other ships as well, which is nice. Percheron, also situational. I mean, I'm not going to go into too much detail on these ships because I think that's suitable for a, well, maybe future ship tier list video. But maybe I should say something short. I mean, mostly these are situational. Like you're going to want to get specific ships for specific situations where they're suitable. But the Percheron can be quite nice. If you're, I think the Percheron is best suited for when you are in tier 2 civilian research. So if you have like a good economy, if you have a saturated tier 2 economy, but you feel like you don't really have space to go like higher tier military, and you have the time for that, then complementing with Percherons can be quite nice. Or even, well, I mean, even getting just like a couple of Percherons together with your frigates can actually be a decent idea. I mean, just getting a couple can be nice, but yeah, committing to these hardcore can be quite expensive and would require more money. Oshiko Robotics Cruiser, very, very strong ship. Get it in the right situation. Steelat unlock. This is a new ship that Tech got. Very, very good corvette. Well, I haven't used it too much, to be honest, which makes me, well, question if I should say it's really good when I really don't know too well. But I can envision this being good in situations where you're pushing early, you have a Sova carrier, you want to pressure the enemy capital ship, and the opponent just has like light frigates. This could give you the edge to like win and kill, like push the opponent's capital ship away, which can be quite nice, but yeah, situational for sure. Krusov, very nice. If you're winning, get the Krusov. It will allow you to win more, win faster. Very, very good in those situations. Light thrusters can be nice if you're doing a corvette-oriented strat. If you have a lot of corvettes, if you're getting like a ton of corvettes early, if you have the corvette shields, this can be nice. This will also allow the corvettes to chase down. This will specialize, well, it will make the corvettes especially good at chasing down the like siege frigates that are trying to bomb your planets. So yeah, because it gives the corvettes max speed plus 15%. Yeah. We got hangar defense unlock. Very good defensively if you have the economy for them. You can get double hangar defense on your planets, and it will effectively stop most siege raids if someone is trying to send siege frigates against you to try to bomb your planets or make raids. Getting a defense point and double hangars on your planets can be very effective in stopping that. But you need the economy to get them. So that's the thing I would say about hangar defenses. Argonav unlock. Star bases, I think, has become are quite underutilized lately for tech. I think star bases are quite nice now because with the economy, so with the new Paths to Power update, a general theme is that they made it so that economy scales much slower in the beginning, so you're gonna get less resources early, just in general for all factions. But what's good is that your economy accelerates towards the later stages of the game, where you're actually going to get even more resources. And this will allow star bases to really come into play in the later stages of the game, because you can actually afford getting them, right? Star bases are very expensive and still very expensive. However, before the update, before this new update of Paths to Power, you didn't really have the money to get them. But now, starbases are quite a good option, I think, because you can get them, and usually, at least, well, sometimes, you don't have to sacrifice your fleet power to get them. Like, that's the thing with defense, right? That's how I see it, is that defense is supposed to complement your fleet. You want to have an army, and then you want to have defenses that complement your army. But yeah, to have an army to complement, you actually have to have the army, right? And if getting the star base prevents you from building a better army faster, then you don't have an army to complement with the star base, which is kind of defeats the purpose for me. So, but now with the better late game economy, you can actually fleet and get star bases at the same time quite easily. So starbase, very, very nice. I wouldn't get it at tier 2, but perhaps in the later stages of the game. Sidearm, we already talked about that. Can be nice in the later stages of the game. Don't get them already at tier 2. Long range jumps, of course, get this if you're playing a multi-star map. K-Lev unlock. K-Levs are cheaper cheaper than they were before the update, which I think is very nice. K-Lev is a tempo unit. It's kind of like the Krusov in that it's a sort of a win more unit, I think. I wouldn't get K-Levs unless you already have an army advantage. If you already have an army advantage, you're going to want to... K-Levs can be very nice because they're going to allow you to push your opponent super hard. Because they are good against structures and cap ships and whatnot. So you can push your advantage if you already have the advantage with these, which is nice. And they're cheaper than before, which makes getting them a bit of a less commitment, which is nice. Uranite rounds, we talked about that. Rapid auto reloader, great ship item, but also wouldn't get until the later stages of the game usually. So save this for later. Gives a physical weapon reload. So yeah, it's very very good on certain ships later, especially Titans and yeah, and so on. But a bit too expensive early game for sure. We got flak bursts. Flak burst, very well. It's an infamous item against missiles and also strikecraft. If you have enough cap ships and you get this on all of your cap ships, it is going to obliterate strikecraft and also missiles. Of course, they made missiles have a little bit more health now, and also strikecraft have a little bit more health. So this isn't as devastating as it was before, but I still think it's very useful. Especially if you have like a lot of capital ships and you put this on all of your capital ships. They affect stacks, so the flak burst is going to kill off annoying strikecraft and also missiles if they fire off all at once. So it's very, very nice. We talked about improved radiation bombs. This is going to be saved for later. Repair droids, we talked about that. Combat repair system can be nice, but again, ship items is something that's a little bit of a luxury usually, which is why this is usually saved for later. Hull regeneration in combat plus 200%. It's nice, but well, yeah, would save it for later once again. Same goes for antimatter engine. Also, the ship items are usually something that you get in the late game. So, so yeah, this is a situation for sure. Efficient generators can be nice, but I mean, usually also, well, something I would save for later because mostly, I mean, antimatter usually, that usually comes into play when you have cap ships, and early game you have one or two. That's where you end up most of the time, which means that getting this isn't going to give you as much value as it's going to do later when you have a lot of capital ships. Now let's take a look at Civilian 2. So
Civilian research tier complete.
here we go. Now at Civilian 2, let's see what are the most high priority researches. We have first a very high priority research, I would say, is modular architecture. This is something that I like to get as fast as possible in every single game. Usually, this makes your orbital structures cost less. I don't always get this the first thing when I go into Civilian 2, but it's way up there for sure. It depends a little bit on how... Well, you're going to have to anticipate how many structures you're going to want to get, right? So if you anticipate that you want to build a lot of factories, then you want to get this very fast, because factories are expensive for tech. So yeah, not getting this is gonna make you lose a lot of money for no reason then. I would also prioritize this very heavily. This is also ridiculous research that they put down from... so we got Terran Mercantile Mandate, which gives bonus 25% Terran Commerce Income Credit Rate per 100 population. I mean, the Terran Mercantile Mandate was tier 4 before, and now it's put all the way down to tier 2. And 25% commerce bonus here already is an insane buff, especially now that homeworld economy scales incredibly well. Your homeworld planet here scales super well with population. And it's going to be like the major source of your income, which means that getting this already at tier 2 is huge. It gives a lot of money already when you research it, and it's just going to get better over time as your population on your homeworld develops. So get the Terran Mercantile Mandate, very, very strong. Other things I would prioritize is the prestigious investment. Increased influence is always good for the same reason that getting the mercantile envoys tier 1 was good. We're gonna want to prioritize prestigious investments. It is always very good to scale the minor faction influence as soon as possible. It should be considered part of your economic development. And minor factions or abilities are in general very strong. And yeah, getting them at higher tiers, scaling them earlier, of course, is better for that reason. I would also take a look at shockwave pulverization and rapid hydrometallurgy. These are the upgraded brothers of the tier 1 counterparts, which just very simply gives increased surface mining rate, both flat and per 100 population. So pick these up. These are priority, I would say, as well to get. They give quite nice bonuses now in terms of mining, so definitely pick these up. What else do we have? We also have interstellar networks, which I would say is high priority. Culture has become, now that the population mechanic has been introduced to since 2, and culture not only does culture now give a bonus, but it also like a passive bonus. So you can see here, if you look at the interstellar networks, you can see that one, basic bonus that you get from having culture saturated on your planets is that the culture is going to give 10% bonus income for your commerce. However, that's not the only thing, because now they've introduced this new allegiance mechanic. So if you press here, you can actually, well, I'm not sure if you see, but yeah, that's a story for another time. But getting culture saturation on your planet is over time going to increase the allegiance of that planet, which is going to offer a commerce and mining bonus to your planet in addition to the passive bonus that you get here. So it stacks, yeah, it's a separate effect which gives even more economy to your planets. And this has made culture very important now economically to get for tech. It's way stronger than before. Culture is super important now. I would get it at tier 2 as one of my priorities, where I usually would skip culture before a little bit in favor of some of these other researches. Now culture is definitely one of those things where you don't want to skip it. You want to get like a culture lab on your homeworld quite early in order to saturate it and bring up the allegiance on it, and also to spread it to your nearby worlds. That way you're going to get the bonus commerce from your homeworld, which scales super well, and the allegiance as well. So definitely pick culture up. I would also take a look at favorite client discount. This is I don't think this is used like as heavily as it should by most people, but it's kind of slept on. Buy metal price minus 10%, and also buy crystal price minus 10%. Doesn't seem like much, but I mean, given the fact that tech tends to generate a lot of credits, and you're gonna want to convert those credits a lot of the time into metal and crystal through the market, this is gonna save you a lot of money over time, and it's not always easy to see how much money this actually will earn you in the long run, but 10% is a lot, and you tend to use the market a lot just in general when playing the game. So this gives a lot of returns. So get this. So those are like the high priority things, I would say. Those are the things that I usually take a look at first when going into Civilian 2. Now, for some of the other things, we're gonna, what's some of the other things? Well, first of all, we have the orbital extraction. Orbital extraction is not something that I get with tech most of the time, because the upgrades for orbital extraction are quite bad. Tech has the worst orbital extraction upgrades out of all factions, as we will see here when we go into tier 3. Other factions have much better research for orbital extraction, so and orbital extraction also competes with trade ports, which again, trade ports are much better now than they were before, in my opinion. So very skeptical about situations like very few situations where I would consider trade ports in this day and age to be inferior or could be outcompeted by the orbital extractors. I think orbital extractors were stronger than before, but but now that trade has gotten better, it's kind of outcompeting it. So yeah. Synthetic crystal farm. This is extremely situational. This just gives you increased trade capacity for crystal. So it doesn't even give you any income. It just gives you the ability to assign your already existing trade points to crystal in a higher capacity. So this is super situational, and I would basically never get this unless maybe like if some of the minor factions have been killed and you can't buy crystal anymore, for instance, and you're like crystal starved for that reason. Maybe I will consider getting synthetic crystal farm in order to increase my trade capacity for crystal. But otherwise I would never get this. It's not worth it. Alloy foundry unlock. Same as with the synthetic crystal farm, but for metal, it gives you increased trade capacity for metal, 3 points. So again, doesn't give you any increased income or anything like that. Only if like the minor factions have been destroyed and you can't buy metal anymore and you're metal starved, then I would consider getting this, but don't get this. Otherwise this is not worth it. Light trade escorts. Trade escorts is also not very high priority. Usually you skip this. I usually don't get this in any games. I mean, You can get the trade escort if you already have a super good economy and you have a super well established trade network, but that's going to be very, very late in the game, so skip this. Otherwise, this gives, yeah. Trade ship sensors, however, are quite good, I think. So trade ship sensors are going to allow your trade ships, so the small trade ships that come out of your trade ports, to provide vision. So they provide vision then into gravity wells where they fly. And this is very good. I think this is a very good upgrade. I think this is underused. This gives a lot of scouting power for free, basically, if you have just a couple of trade ports. Yeah, free scouting. Free scouting is very nice. Definitely pick this up if you have a well-established trade network. Vision is king. So yeah, pick this up if you have a well-established trade network, but not the highest priority, of course. Still situational for that cause, but if you have a lot of trade ports, definitely pick this up. Regional government unlock. I don't usually get this. I wouldn't prioritize this. Just gives a little bit of extra commerce credit income, but it's quite negligible. The extra civilian orbit slots can be nice, but usually you have enough of them just from upgrading the logistic tracks on your planets. Yeah, I usually don't find any use for this. You can skip this, no problem. Oceanic colonization, get it if you have an ocean planet. Same with this. This gives max population on your home ocean planets, which can be quite nice. So if you have an ocean planet and the ocean planet is already quite developed, you can consider getting this high pressure domes item as well for even more increased population. But situational to when you have ocean planets, of course. Ice processing facility, actually a quite nice item. This is actually a quite nice item, but also usually something that you can skip. It's not essential to get this. If you have 2 ice planets and you have them quite early, I would consider getting this, because 25% bonus surface mining for crystal can be good. That's actually quite a lot. However, crystal is not the bottleneck resource for tech in the early game, so or well, in the mid game either, I would say. So even though this can give quite good returns if you have a couple of ice planets, it doesn't really give you the resources that tech needs, so to speak. Usually you want to get more credits, so yeah, you can skip this also, no problem. It's not very high priority. Arctic development gives increased commerce for your ice worlds. You can notice they actually in the new update they removed, so that the only real planet of the early planets that you need to research to develop further is the ice world. So volcanic planets, you don't need research to upgrade them fully now, and the same for primordial planets. However, ice planets, you need research to upgrade them fully in terms of commerce. And I would prioritize this if you have 2 ice planets. Otherwise, I would save this for a little bit later, I think. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. If you have 2 ice planets, I would put this in high priority. If you don't have 2 ice planets, if you just have 1, then I don't see the problem of waiting with this a little bit. But if you have 2 ice planets, get this earlier. Rapid development, plant development build time minus 10%. Catastrophe recovery, plant health regeneration plus 20%. These 2 I can talk about in conjunction. I usually skip these until the later stages of the game as well. Not much to say here. Just not really essential for your early game economic development. They're nice, but not essential. Geothermal smelter surface mining rate metal can be built on volcanic planets. For this, I would say the same as I do with ice processing facility. They are quite nice. I would get them only if I have 2 volcanic planets. Same thing with ice processing facility. I would get it, I think, if I have 2 ice planets, but not otherwise. Alright, desert colonization, of course get that if you have a desert planet. Command bunker is a quite nice item. I don't get it too often. So this is not essential to get for sure, I think. Gives some military orbit slots, gives some extra planet health. Can be worth getting on important planets where you expect to be sieged, but yeah, not essential for sure. You can skip this if you want. War reporter training, very good item because you can put it on your capital ships and it's going to bump up your max. Like if you're researching prestigious investments and you have the war reporter training and you put just one war reporter training ship item on your capital ship, it's going to bump up the capital ship or it's going to bump up your max influence to 6. Which is very nice. So, because 6 influence is perfect for, getting a lot of the higher tier minor faction abilities, such as the exotics that you can get a random exotics from the Aluxians, for example, using 6 influence. So, getting to 6 influence is quite nice, can be done early with the War Reporter. So for scaling influence, War Reporter can be a nice option here. So this is semi-high priority, I would say. But yeah, a very nice item for sure. Media Conglomerate, also very nice, but wouldn't get early on when you're in tier 2. Media Conglomerate, for you, what it does is it allows you to put an item on your planet, which gives you, increased culture rate from the broadcast centers that are on that planet. And it also gives you 1 influence for each broadcast center on that planet. So what you want to do with this generally is you want to find a planet where you have a lot of logistic slots. You want to place this media conglomerate item on that planet, and you want to only build interstellar, you only want to build the broadcast centers on that planet. Because that, then you're just going to get 1 media conglomerate and you're going to get, you're going to make your broadcast centers on that planet scale incredibly well because they have increased culture rate and they're also going to give you 1 influence each. So if you have space to get a culture dedicated planet, this is very strong because it's going to allow you to scale your influence incredibly hard. However, you're not going to have usually a culture dedicated planet until later in the game, so this is why you usually save this for later. Lastly, foreign sabotage. This gives the opponent a penalty if they're under your Empire's friendly culture, which they get an increased factory unit build time and also a refinery exotic build time penalty. This is also very situational. I wouldn't get this most of the time. I would prioritize this away. So yeah, but if you have very good culture coverage and your opponent doesn't have any culture whatsoever, then yeah, this can be nice to get, but usually that's not the case. So yeah, you can skip this most of the time. All right, that's very good. And now we're going to go into tier 3 after taking another short break. And let's go. We are back for tier 3 and we're jumping into military 3. Let's go. And yeah, let's just put this on so we can get the colored variant. And once again, we're going to, of course, see that the advanced supply control is very high priority. Advanced supply control gives increased supply, of course, which is again extremely important. One thing to note is it costs a Calonide, so you're gonna have to save a blue a blue exotic. If you have an ice planet, for instance, early, it can be very valuable to try to not spend some of the Calonides that you can get guaranteed from ice planets and just save them in order to get this advanced supply control, because you don't want to get supply blocked at 1,000 supply once you're taking into military 3. So save a blue exotic for that. Another very high priority is I would say that this, if you're going for a cruiser heavy strat, cruiser shields were actually bumped down. So similarly to the frigate shields, the cruiser shields were bumped down a tier. So previously cruiser shields were at tier 4, but now they're tier 3, which is again, yeah, very, very huge. If you're getting any amount of cruisers, definitely get this. It's a huge amount of shields, a huge amount of durability, extra durability for your ships. Get this as fast as possible if you have any cruisers whatsoever, or any significant amount of cruisers. Other than that, we have some quite nice researches. Regardless of whether you're going for a cruiser-focused strategy or if you're going for a frigate-focused strategy, I would consider titanoferric plating a very, very strong research that I would prioritize. Titanoferric plating increases the armor strength by 15. It is the upgrade of the tier 1 research, advanced hydrometallurgy. So after advanced metallurgy. So after advanced metallurgy, you can get this as a next upgrade, which gives even more increased armor strength. And with tech ships having a lot of armor, the increased armor strength has a lot of value as well. If you have Hoshikos or any amount of retrofit base, I would also say that the advanced repair droids is of higher priority. Repair is very, very strong in Sins 2. Both defensively and offensively if you have Hoshikos. And well, defensively with the retrofit base, and offensively and defensively with the Hoshikos. So this is high priority if you have any amount of Hoshikos. Advanced ballistics, also I would consider high priority. Both if you're doing a frigate focused strat where you are using any amount of, well, a significant amount of cobalts, advanced ballistics is very nice. And also for Harkas, if you have Harka research now that you're going into tier 3, the advanced ballistics are also very good. Is there anything else I would consider high priority here? I don't think so. I think those are the most important. So let's go into some of the more, what I would consider to be less priority. We have ship kill experience, 10%. This is important once you're having a lot of capital ships and titans, or even a titan. If you have a titan, you definitely want to try and get this, because you want your titans and cap ships to level up as fast as possible. But if you don't have like a significant amount of them, I wouldn't get this. So this is, well, just priority in situational situations, but not necessarily early on when you're going tier 3 already. Pirate Mercenary base, this is a situational, this is a faction specific one, so let's skip it. Targeting array, again, ship item can be quite nice on ships, but in my experience, ship items are kind of a luxury, which means you don't get this until later. Harkas very nice. I think Harka is the big brother of the Cobalt, I would say. It's an all-round ship that does very well against most things, and is not super excellent against anything. So, well, it's the big brother of the Cobalt. If you can afford to get this, if you can afford to mass these, transitioning into Harkas is very strong. And if you do, please get the cruiser shields as fast as possible, of course, to complement them. Harkas, I would say, are semi-priority because taking up, well, it depends, of course, because sometimes you just want to keep with your... if you have a lot of frigates already, you might not have room to mass Harkas, which means there's no point in researching them right away. But if you want to transition into higher tier ships, then Harka is a super good choice. I think Harkas are very strong right now as well. Javelis, I haven't played with these enough, so I'm gonna hold off my opinion of these somewhat. But I think they're still quite good against capital ship heavy fleets. So pick this up in that case if you're facing that. Recharger droids, also situational for if you have a lot of Hoshikos and a lot of cap ships. The antimatter recharge is the most useful when you have a lot of cap ships. So wouldn't get this unless you have a lot of Hoshikos and also decent amount of capital ships. Heavy Fallout upgrades your crew sub bombing damage. Also a situational pick. Not necessarily, well, I wouldn't. This is completely okay to skip as well. If you have a lot of crew subs, they're going to bomb planets quite fast anyway. But yeah, of course, it is nice if you have the intention of, well, if you're in a base race situation or something like that, or if you're actually planning to do a bombing raid with crew subs, then it can be quite good, but not high priority for sure. We have the breaker missile upgrade for the Javelis. This I must admit, my knowledge of this is very limited, so I'm going to hold off on my opinions of this as well. I'm not gonna speak too soon. Actually, I haven't tried this basically at all, I must be honest, so I'm not going to say something about this, I think. Yeah, probably they can be quite nice. I mean, if you have a lot of Javelis, pick this up. Any upgrades for whatever ship you have a lot of should be good, right? Hangar flak turrets gives point defense weapons to your hangar defenses. Super situational, perfectly okay to skip. I almost never get this. If you have a lot of hangar defenses, perhaps this can be worth it, but usually not, right? We have starbase items. I would say these two starbase items are actually one of the more important items, which is makes it nice that they come already in tier 3. So we have the beam upgrade item for the starbase and also the missile launchers. If you have a starbase that you want to upgrade, I would get these two items, the beam and the missile launcher, on them. But yeah, this is of course situational again to when you have a starbase. Actually, same thing goes for the docking booms. If you have docking booms, gives regeneration to ships that are around the starbase in a quite large AoE. So if you have a starbase and you want to hold a position with your fleet close to your starbase, definitely get this. But again, very situational to when you have a starbase. Remote construction allows your starbase to construct frigates and cruisers. Very, very situational as well. Don't usually get this. Wormhole navigation. If you this is very strong actually. This is very strong. If you have a wormhole nearby, I would. This is a great utility tool. Wormholes offer a lot of mobility. And TEC has some mobility issues as a race, which means that wormholes can be very useful for that reason. So wormhole navigation, definitely pick this up. I would say this is almost high priority, but yeah, not quite up there with like the more standard, more like generic upgrades that give power to your ships, but definitely up there. This should be probably researched in any situation when you have a wormhole nearby, probably. So yeah. Quick jump calculation, phase jump charge time minus 40%. This is also very strong. Yeah, this is very strong. I would get this. It's not the highest priority, I would say, but because ships phase jump quite fast anyway. But yeah, minus 40% is a lot. They jump very fast with this, so yeah, pick this up for sure. Coil shock, and this new upgrade for your Calebs offers an ability which removes shields in an AoE. Again, if you have a lot of Calebs, get this. It is situational for when you have a lot of Calebs. Beam weapon damage. This is something that I don't usually get. Usually as tech you don't have that much beams, so and the beam increase here is only 10%. So the beam weapon damage increase is only 10%, which means yeah, it's not too great. I would say I wouldn't get this. Quick Gauss capacitors, increased Gauss weapon reload 10%. Gauss weapons are, well, they're prevalent on some THC ships like the Caleb and also some capital ships. But usually I don't get this. 10% is not that much. If you're playing Primacy and you build a Ragnarov Titan, I would get this because the Ragnarov and well, perhaps also the Cole. The Cole has some a lot of Gauss turrets. Well, it has Gauss turrets as well. Then it might be worth getting this, but usually, yeah, this is saved. This is not very high priority for me. I usually save it until way later. If I have the Ragnarov Titan, I get this usually, but yeah, otherwise no. We have extended range missiles, missile weapon range 15%. If you're doing missile oriented strat, again, get this. Same for this, missile weapon damage 10%. If you have a missile oriented strat, you can get this. Submission warheads, planet bombing damage 15%. This I usually hold off on. This in combination with the heavy fallout for the crews of siege frigates can be quite nice. It makes you bomb planets very fast. So if you anticipate that you're going to bomb planets, or if you're in a base race situation, you can get this, yeah, but otherwise there's no real reason. Reactive plating gives max armor points 20%, and also hull and armor resistances to missiles 25%. This is strong against missiles. I would get this against Vasari, basically. Vasari has a lot of phase missiles usually. Get this with the Canrax and whatnot. So against Vasari, reactive plating is good. Potent reaction chaining, max antimatter for your ships. Again, if you have a lot of cap ships, or if you have a decent amount of cap ships, this can be worth it because antimatter regeneration and max scaling scale well with capital ships. Volatile accelerants I think is almost a mandatory item to have in the late game. Wouldn't get it already at tier 3, but getting a max bonus speed of 25% is very, very strong. You want at least one of these on your cap ships in the later stages of the game. Movement speed is definitely a very, very strong stat to get on your fleet in general. You want to be able to chase ships down. You want to be able to run away from ships. You want to control where and when the fight takes place. And movement speed is going to allow you to do that. Shield burst. This is very nice. Tech now has earlier shield burst, and shield burst should definitely be unlocked, I think, as soon as possible. I actually forgot about this because I'm not used to it. But yeah, for tier 3, shield burst is very, very strong. So this is actually a high priority, I would say. This is up there that with like the cruiser shields and the increased supply. So yeah, definitely pick this up as soon as you can. All right, and we go for Civilian 3.
Civilian research tier complete.
Now, Civilian 3, in my opinion, is all about spreading culture, mostly. So, like at least for the high priority. So once you get into Civilian 3, you're gonna wanna be looking at the addictive consumerism, which gives the increased culture rate. And you're also gonna wanna be looking at the interstellar commerce, which upgrades the passive effect from your culture, which gives, so where it previously will give 10% bonus credit rate, it's now going to give bonus 25% bonus credit income rate, which is a large difference and very, very huge. You should pick this up very fast. Trade port culture is also extremely nice if you have good trade port saturation on your planets, because it's going to allow you to saturate all your planets with culture quite easily. Especially your inner planets. It's going to be, it's a quite nice bonus. And gives a little bit of an extra additional culture per trade port, of course. So pick this up if you have good culture saturation. So culture I would consider to be like in the top priorities. You also have in the high priorities the exotics refinery. Once you're going tier 3, you want to get at least one exotics refinery quite fast, usually, in my opinion. If nothing else, you want to get it in order to get some of these upgrades that cost exotics that are going to come later. Because right now, once you're getting into tier 3, more and more research is going to require some extra exotics. So it's important to have at least one exotics refinery, and perhaps even 3 by this point, once you're heading into tier 3. But yeah, they're very expensive. The exotics refineries are very expensive, so yeah, be careful about investing in them too fast, but getting at least one is usually a good idea, just for flexibility in general. If you have good trade port saturation, I would also look at huge cargo holds and fulfillment warehouse. Fulfillment warehouse, because huge cargo holds upgrades your trade just straight up, and fulfillment warehouse will allow you to, using this plant item, get some extra trade port export points. The fulfillment warehouse has become a bit worse after this patch because, well, relatively speaking at least, because its cost relative to getting another trade port was, I mean, now trade port has gotten cheaper, so actually getting the fulfillment warehouse is like the planet item for fulfillment warehouse is like on par with the cost of just getting another trade port. So that is kind of like, okay, if fulfillment warehouse costs as much as a trade port, then why not just get another trade port instead? But of course it has the other advantage of giving you an extra trade export point without you having to take up any logistic slots on your planet, and that can actually be a huge deal because as tech you need those logistic slots really badly later in the game, mostly to get your labs and also to get your factories. So yeah, for that reason, fulfillment warehouse can still be nice, and I still do get it in games in order to build my trade income without using the logistic slots. All right. Also, I would say that ostentatious displays with the influence recharge rate is very good. This is also very high priority, I would say. And if you have 2 or more ice planets, I would also prioritize ice mercantile mandate. Extra commerce credit income rate per 100 population, bonus 25% for ice planets. This is, I think this is very strong with 2 or more ice planets, and especially combined with the culture saturated ice planets, because the bonuses will stack, right? So you will get more base credit income rate from your ice planets, and then that's going to stack with the bonus of the increased commerce that you get from your culture. So that's very, very strong. And I think those are the high priority targets for tier 3. So now let's take a look at some of the less priority targets. We have, increased orbital extraction rate for crystal 10%. This is very negligible. I wouldn't get this I almost never get this. I would, probably not get this in any situation, probably. As I said a while back, TEC has the worst upgrades for orbital extraction out of all races. I would get trade instead in almost every situation. This is a very mediocre bonus. So yeah, you can skip this for sure. Same for nuclear strip mining. It's an orbital extraction upgrade. Negligible bonus. Probably not worth getting unless it's like you have some very specific reason. Orbital mining control. This planet item is actually the bonuses, the numbers on this are looking a bit nicer. So you have, instead of just a 25%, 10 to 25% bonus, you have actually a 50% bonus for a specific planet, which is quite nice. Although the item, of course, to get the full value of this item, you need to already have a established orbital mining network. With trade being in the game, I don't really see any reason to establish an orbital mining network instead of trade. So this usually falls out of picture quite fast as well. Expedited permits, orbital structure build time 25%. This is very good. This is very good. I think this is very good. TEC builds a lot of buildings. It applies to star bases. It applies to factories. It applies to labs. And also to your Titan foundry that you will get for building your Titan later in the game, which takes quite long to build. So this is going to accelerate your Titan. It's going to accelerate your star bases. This is essential to get, I think, once you have enough economy during the later stage of the game when you're going like tier 4, tier 5. But like when you're going tier 3, I don't think it's too great. I would save this for later. Heavy trade escorts. We already talked about the light trade escorts. This is also very situational, I think, for the later stages of the game. If you have a very good trade saturation, you might want to consider getting this. But again, it's competing with other researches, which are probably more essential. I wouldn't get this most of the time. Labor negotiations. Corvette, well, it increases ship build times, which is nice. I would get this if you're fighting a lot and you're forced to build a lot of reinforcements. Then I think this is quite nice. 10% is non-negligible, but it's not a lot either. So not the worst thing in the world if you don't get this, but a nice thing to have if you have the time. Orbital Development Initiative. It's an improvement of the Planet Item Regional Government Office. As I said, I usually skip the Regional Government Office, and I also do with this thing for the exact same reason. I just don't think it does enough. It gives extra civilian orbit slots. This one actually gives 4 extra civilian orbit slots. That's actually a nice bonus now that I think of it. Because sometimes you can run out of logistic slots and you want to get some extra labs. With this, like to continue your research and so on. This could actually help you do that, I think, because it gives 4 civilian orbit slots. So If you run out, if you're already run out of logistic slots, you could consider this. But if you have any plans to develop your logistics on, I don't see the reason to get this, I think. So yeah. We have the continuations of the oceanic development, which gives increased population on your oceanic planets. If you have a fully developed oceanic planet which already has a high population, I would consider getting this. These are very strong in that case, because especially for the bonuses of ocean planets are very powerful for tech if you can get them fully developed. So yeah, if you have ocean planet and they're already highly developed, this is very nice. So get this in that case. Crystalline colonization, get it if you want a crystalline planet. Ferrous colonization, get it if you want a ferrous planet. Gas giant colonization if you want a gas planet. Desert development and desert mercantile mandate. These two are, well, of course, upgrades for your desert planet. If you have a desert planet, get these. These are very good in that case. Now we move down here. This is here. Now we get to commercial district. Now, commercial district is a planet item which you can place on desert, ocean, primordial, and Terran planets. And what it does at level 1 is it gives a bonus 10% bonus credit income rate per 100 population. And it also gives it also gives you 5% more resources for selling metal and crystal. Now this affects stacks, so if you can put multiple commercial districts on your planet, on different planets, then the sell metal and crystal bonus is going to stack. So you're going to get even more resources from selling metal and crystal, and this is very nice. So I think this is a very underutilized item. If you have plans to place this down, if you can get 3 or 4 of these up and running, the market is going to be very favorable for you, and also the commerce credit income rate is nice, especially with the upgrade, because you can upgrade. We're going to get to that, but you can actually upgrade the commercial district at tier 4, which is going to give it's going to make it so that the planet which has the item gives 25% bonus credit income rate instead of 10%. So again, tech wants to generate a lot of credits, so this is nice for that purpose. Auxiliary supply depot. It's a planet item which you can put, which gives minor faction range from that planet. Again, if you have scaled your influence well, if you have some raids going on, if you've scaled to get it so that you want to send some pirate raids or Yiskun expeditionary force raids and so on, this can be quite nice, but usually it's not something I get. Yeah, this is situational. You can skip this if you want, but if you have good influence coverage, it might be worth considering. Familiar territory gives 5% bonus movement speed within your friendly culture. Again, movement speed is very nice, but the effect of bonus 5% is not that large. So it is a nice upgrade to get, and I usually get it in tier 3, but it's not something that I prioritize. All right, and yeah, let's see. After another short break, we will go into tier 4. And welcome back. Now we're heading into tier 4. We'll see if we can power through this take. We'll see if we can power through all the way up to tier 5 this time. So that because yeah, there's a lot of things to get through here. But let's try this. So again, for priorities for tier 4, I would say once again, we have the increased supply, of course. Increased supply, again, very strong. This time it costs a Quarnium. So this is one of the reasons why, again, we don't usually want to. We want to get the Quornium researched here in Tier 4 Civilian before we go to Tier 4, or to Tier 4 Military. But if you can get Quornium by some other means, perhaps if you have a gas giant, or if you can just ask one of your teammates for Quornium, maybe you can go Military 4 before you go Civilian 4. In any case, increased supply is usually a very high priority, as is a Titan. I think getting a Titan is of course always great. It scales very well. It's always nice to have a Titan. Now, I would say it's not as well essential to get it now, because it takes a long time to research and build. And with the new items, or with the new update, getting a Titan actually doesn't. One of the things that make Titans so strong is when they gain a couple of levels, and when you're able to place a lot of items on them. And the thing is now, with the new update, a lot of these items that you want to place on your Titan, you can't actually get them for free, which is how it was before. Instead, now you have to actually research basically every item that you want to get on your Titan. So you can see here, for instance, you have extra armor plating in Tier 4 military, which you have to research. And so to get the extra armor plating on your Titan, you have to research it. Same thing with the missile launchers. Previously, you could just get this by default on your Titan. Now you can't. Now you have to research it. And the same thing goes, I think, for, let's see, there's something else. Thought there was something else. But yeah, no. Maybe there isn't. Yeah, maybe I'm missing something, but as for Tier 4, I think these are like the standard ones that you wanted to get on your Titan, at least some of them. But now you have to research them. So yeah, getting a Titan is a bit slower than before, requires a larger investment, both in terms of like the research that you get, and also like for the time it scales, because now for Titans to be the most effective, they have to get to higher levels. So they don't come out quite as strong as they did before, but they end up stronger later, of course, with levels. But yeah, so that's why Titan isn't as essential right now. I think it is quite heavy investment, but of course a Titan is a Titan. It's a super powerful warship, still very, very powerful to get if you have the time and money. Also for, let's see, what else do we have for priorities? Also, just for a standard like generic upgrade, we have this upgrade which gives increased hull. I think this is very nice. I think hull regenerate. Well, it gives max. Oh wait, actually looking at something. Also, this actually doesn't give too much increased hull. So you have a hull upgrade here in Military 4, but yeah. It doesn't actually give that much flat increased hull. Most of its bonuses comes from giving increased hull regeneration and increased crippled hull. I guess that's nice, but it's not as essential as I thought. So yeah, I take that back a little bit. We have enhanced shield burst restore. I think this is very, very nice. I would get this. The only thing about this is I think that in order to get this, let's see if I see it here in this in the extended tree. So you have this thing gives increased shield burst restore points, bonus 50%. So it gives a 50% more increased shield burst. And this is very, very powerful. However, to get this, You also need to get all of these upgrades before, so you need to get the corvette shields, you need to get the frigate shields, you need to get the cruiser shields, and also this. So unless you have all of these researched already, getting this might take a very long time. So just keep that in mind, that there are a lot of stuff that you have to get before getting this. But if you already have all of the necessary prerequisites researched, I don't see any reason to not get this, and I would prioritize it for sure. Another upgrade that's quite nice is to get this turn speed for your capital ships and titans. It is not the most impressive upgrade, but it's still very nice, I think. Would get it, especially if you have a titan. If you have a titan, I think this is actually this is essential to get, because it's gonna allow you, the titan, to turn and run away and be a little bit more mobile. Same thing goes for these increased experience upgrades for your capital ships. We have advanced crew training. So advanced crew training gives increased starting experience for your capital ships and titans. While tactical analysts gives increased kill experience. Again, if you have a titan, if you have a lot of capital ships, I would prioritize these. Basically, if you're about to get a titan, I would always get advanced crew training, because if you get it, it's going to allow your titan to come out at level 2 instead of level 1. So right when the titan is built, it's going to be level 2 instead of just level 1, which is huge. Because again, yeah, titans and cap ships scale very well with levels, and even more so now than before with the new Paths to Power update. But I would say, other than that, tier 4 military isn't as, like, there's a lot of situational stuff in tier 4 military. And there's nothing that's really super essential here, I would say. A lot of, like, there are nice upgrades here for sure, but nothing that's, like, really that's something I really need to get, like most of the games. Like, I really need to get this. Of course, the increased supplies like that, but other than that, it's you're gonna have to consider what to get here. There's a lot of situational stuff here in tier 4 military. But yeah, we talked about the increased experience. We talked about the Titan. Ogrov can be nice. I actually, this also, I haven't tried out this ship too much yet. But well, the Ogrov is quite weird now. It costs 1 Tauronite to build, so you actually have to spend 1 red exotic to build these. And they have like missiles that they stack up as an ability. So I think the idea is that these are supposed to deal very, very high burst damage to capital ships, titans, and buildings by shooting like very focused salvos. But yeah, these come quite late in the game and require quite heavy economy to build. I haven't had the chance to try these out too much, I must be honest, but so yeah, you're gonna have to tell me if these are any good or not. But from what I can see, they look quite nice. But yeah, again, they cost 1 red exotic to build. They cost 1 Tauronite, which means that they're a bit more difficult to build, let's say. So yeah, consider that when building them. We got the Ragnarov hangar, a ship item for your Ragnarov, which gives it like hangar slots. Actually gives 10 hangar slots, so that's actually quite a lot. Like 10 hangar slots is not nothing. So yeah, not a bad item, I would say. Not a bad item, but not something I would prioritize. Advanced fire control gives a very good upgrade for all of your star bases. If you have a lot of star bases, I would get this, but otherwise no. Deep space trade gives you a a starbase item which allows you to get trade export points on your starbases. Again, good if you have a lot of refineries, but to get these items with, and you want to build your economy, but not something I would prioritize. Unbreachable hull. It's another starbase item, not essential. Would only get if you have like a very strong choke point that you desperately want to hold. Nova Lift we're saving for later. Planetary Shields, also very situational, allows the planet to remain invulnerable as long as the starbase using this item is within the gravity well. Very situational once again, but can be strong again in certain situations. Phase jump inhibitors. Wow, this one I'm actually a big fan of these now. I'm not such a big fan of it that I would say that they are like essential to get or anything like that in tier 4. But like phase jump inhibitors got a big buff in terms of their durability, and also with the buff to late game economy, you can often afford to get these, I would say. So like phase jump inhibitors, I would definitely keep an eye out on these as a defensive structure. These getting these like on each of your planets can be very, very annoying for your opponent now, I think. So like phase jump inhibitors is like almost essential, I would say. It's definitely one of the, like if I'm researching something in tier 4 military, I think this is definitely one of the at the higher end at least of the things I would like to get. Failsafe jump plotting allows scouts to ignore the effects of phase jump inhibitors. Super duper situational. I basically never get this. I'm basically never in situations where I need this. So yeah, can skip 99.9% of the time. Advanced gas coils, gas weapon range, bonus 15%. Good if you have a Ragnarov Titan, basically. Rapid Autoreloader Mark II. Now, I said before when I talked about the level 1 Rapid Autoreloader that ship items are a luxury and you don't want to get them until later in the game. Well, now you're in tier 4, and tier 4 is starting to go quite late in the game. And here I would actually start considering Rapid Autoreloader. Especially if you have a Titan, getting Rapid Autoreloader on your Titan with the Mark II unlock is very, very strong. And at this point, Rapid Autoreloader should definitely be considered for that reason. Enhanced Armor Penetration, Missile Weapon Damage, bonus 20%. Again, good if you have a lot of missile damage. Heavy Ghost Slugs. If you have a Ragnarov Titan, this is one of the strongest upgrades that you can get, or strongest ship items that you can get on a Ragnarov Titan. So yeah, again, if you have a Titan, then definitely build this on your Ragnarov. Yeah, for sure. If you have an Ankylon, of course, Ankylon doesn't have any ghost turrets, so yeah, you don't want to get this. I don't even think you can get this on an Ankylon. I don't think the game allows you to, but yeah, on a Ragnarov, or if you have like mass coal battleships, yeah, you should get this. This is very strong in that case. Missile Guidance Computer. Missile Guidance Computer is like the heavy ghost slugs, but for the Ankylon. The Ankylon Titan should be equipped with this every time if you have every time you have the Ankylon. Yeah, what it does is it gives some more missile weapon damage, and it also enables missile retargeting. So yeah, what missile retargeting means is that if a missile is about to hit a target and that target dies, then the missile will retarget and it will steer itself towards a new enemy instead of the first one. So yeah, it basically prevents overkill damage from your missiles, and that and effectively that's extra DPS, right? So and Ankylon shoots a lot of missiles, so yeah, this is very good to get on an Ankylon. And even better, this is an aura. So if you have other missile shooting ships in the vicinity of the ship that has this item, then the missile retargeting is going to apply, or it's going to be applied to all of those other missile ships as well. So if you, for example, have an army of Javelis, then and you have a cap ship or a Titan which has this missile guidance computer item, then the missile retargeting is going to apply to all of your Javelis within the aura as well, which is very, very nice. High yield warheads gives increased planet bombing damage plus 50%. Again, a huge luxury to get this item. I almost never get it. I would only get it like super late game, super duper late game if you have nothing else to do and you want to like improve your Akan battle cruiser or something. Then I would maybe get this on an Akan, but other than that, too situational. Munitions plant. This gives increased weapon damage for your structures and star bases, and it gives it bonus 50%. Now that's a huge bonus. So for a surprise defense, this is very, very strong. If you have like a defensive position that you know that your opponent is going to have to attack into, this can be a game changer. But there are not many situations I'm put in where this is on my priority list. So yeah. Ablative armor does the same thing as reactive plating, gives max armor points and also increased hull and armor resistance. But instead of doing it for missiles, it does it for beams. So I would say reactive plating is the item that you would usually get against Vasari, while ablative armor is the item that you would want to get against Advent, because Advent has more beams and Vasari has more missiles, generally speaking. So you're gonna want to consider which race you're up against and you can't get both of these on your ships. So the game doesn't allow you to build both of these on any one ship. So you're gonna have to choose whether to get beam resistance or missile resistance. Expert damage control, we talked about this. Yeah, we already talked about these. So yeah, let's jump over to the civilian research tree again. Now we're heading into the civilian 4. Now, what are the big priorities in civilian 4? Well, first of all, I would say cornium. So cornium production is very important. A lot of the stuff that you're going to get here now is going to require cornium. For example, if you want tech into civilian 5, you're gonna even want to get cornium because you need that to pay for civilian 5. Titans need cornium. Increased supply for tier 4 needs cornium. If you're for example are primacy and you need Novalith cannons, you're gonna need cornium to build them. And just a lot of the tier 5 research also requires cornium. I'm not sure, is it the same for the... Yeah, a lot of the tier 5 military research is going to require cornium. So cornium, very, very important. I would prioritize this a lot of the time. It's often the first thing I get when teching civilian 4. So yeah, definitely consider the cornium as fast as you can. With good trade saturation, I would also take a good look at immense cargo holds as well. Trade upgrades are really good. They give good bonuses. The first trade upgrade here in tier 3 gives 25% bonus, and the next one gives bonus 25 again, to a total of 50% bonus. 50% bonus is a lot. It's a really, really good bonus. So yeah, this if with a good trading network, this is very, very good to prioritize. We also have the increased influence again. Influence once again very, very strong. You go up from 5 influence all the way up to 9, which is gonna give you access to basically, well, this thing, coalition association, together with like war reporter or just media conglomerate. That's immediately gonna give you access to the strongest minor faction abilities, which, well, the strongest minor faction abilities cost 10 influence. So it's gonna give you access to that, which is, yeah, extremely powerful. The minor faction abilities, which cost 10, like yeah, the expeditionary force, it's gonna give you access to phase gates, for example. So yeah, with enough influence, you're gonna be able to deploy phase gates. And well, what else costs 10? Yeah, you're gonna be able to send pirate raids as well with 10 influence, and the pirate raids are also very powerful. So, but yeah, this extra influence, very, very nice. Other than that, I wouldn't say anything else is super high priority. I would say, yeah, Quornium, the immense cargo holds, and also the coalition association are like the super top priorities here in tier 4, while the rest are a little bit of lower, on the lower end. But okay, we're gonna take a look at them once again. So we got the orbital extraction rate upgrades. I'm not gonna repeat myself. I think orbital extraction rate upgrades are, well, I am going to repeat myself apparently. The orbital extraction rate upgrades are very mediocre for tech. Think twice before getting these. We have, oh, this one is interesting. This one's very interesting. Industrial complex, a plant item which gives factory unit build time minus 25% and also factory unit price minus 5%. Now, one major application for this is if you're getting a Titan, right? Because if you're getting a Titan and you place this item on the planet where you're getting a Titan, then your Titan is going to build 25% quicker and also cost 5% less. And because a Titan is so expensive and takes so long to build, these bonuses are huge. So if you can afford this, I would definitely get this on a planet where you're building a Titan. It basically pays for itself if you do that. Like the Titan cost is gonna go down by so much that this is almost gonna be like a free. This is almost gonna be free, but yeah, yeah. So definitely consider that in that case. Also, if you have a dedicated production planet in the late game where you're building like a bunch of, if you have like 4 heavy factories in the late game and you're trying to build a bunch of cruisers or cap ships. This can also be very nice to get on a factory dedicated planet. Another oceanic planet upgrade, the continuation for these, which gives the increased population counts on your oceanic planet. This is very nice if you have a fully developed ocean planet. It's going to raise the income from it by a ton. Crystalline development, if you have a crystalline planet. Harvesting crawler is what the heck does this even do? I actually don't know what this does. Let me read this. Mobile mining platforms designed to seek out high quality goods in sprint to turn or increase crystal mining rates. Okay, so it basically, okay. Wait, so this basically just gives plus 1.5 surface mining rate for crystal on crystalline planets? This sounds really, really bad. Am I missing something? 1.5 surface mining rate for crystal. It sounds like, yeah. Well, I might be missing something, but this sounds really bad to me. I'm not gonna linger on here, but yeah, you can tell me if I'm wrong. Ferric mining rig, +2 metal mining rate for your ferrous planet. Okay, this sounds quite bad to me for the same reason, but tell me if I'm missing something. Gas harvester, commerce credit income rate for your gas giants, and also gives some more trade capacity for credits. This also looks quite bad to me. I'm not sure why I would get this for the same reason. Ferrous commerce upgrades, plant upgrades, looks really good. Get this if you have a ferrous planet. Superior command bunker, it's an upgrade from the earlier command bunker that you get over here in tier 2. So here you get the command bunker unlock, and here you can upgrade it once again. It's gonna give your planet more health and also some more military orbit slots. Very situational, don't usually get this. If you have a dedicated defensive planet, it might be good. Cultural monopolization. This is nice to get. Yeah. This is something that is like semi-high priority, I would say. It's not like quite up there with the others, but spreading culture is of course very important. It's important to try to resist the opponent's culture. And getting higher culture rate, of course, helps with that. So this is, I would say, semi-high priority. And also I would say the same thing about commercial appropriation. Commercial appropriation allows the planets that you have with enough commerce generating on it to also generate a certain amount of culture, a culture rate of 1. And this, of course, helps a bit with combating the enemy culture and just gives you some more culture coverage for free. So, yeah, like semi prioritizing, I would say, or semi priority, not the highest priority, but yeah, a nice thing to get if you have the time. Okay, that's tier 4. Wow, there's a lot of things to go through here. Oh, I'm getting quite tired, I must say. But we are. I'm excited to go into tier 5, and I don't think there's too many of these tier 5 technologies left. So I think we can just power through this at this point. So let's go into tier 5. Now, at tier 5, we have a lot of interesting stuff. Now, I want to say something very brief. I'm going to just upgrade this here. Now, I'm going to say something very quick here, just in general, that I'm not sure if I said before. But yeah, I said that I like to go into Civilian 5 usually before I go into Military 5. And usually I do that because, well, once you get the economy from tier 5, it's easier to support. It's much easier to support like this massive amount of research here. So you can see there's like fewer. You can see there's fewer amounts of research here for the civilian technologies than there are for the military technologies. So that means if you can get the civilian technologies going here with your economic stuff, then of course that's going to help you a lot with economically supporting this massive amount of research that you have here in the military tree. But once again, let's start with the military 5 and then go over to civilian 5. We have the extra armor plating. These are upgrades for your Titan. I realize now that these are faction specific, so Enclave won't get these, some of these, because some of these are specific to the Ragnarok. However, yeah, of course, the Ankylon is also going to get its corresponding Titan-specific items. So, yeah, you can just take your own conclusions from that. The extra armor plating is very nice if you already have a Titan. Like, if you already have a Titan, just freaking get these Titan items because they're very, very powerful. We have the deploy Argonev unlock. So this allows you to deploy Argonevs in neutral and opponent gravity wells using a using it as a ship item. Now this is a super late game tech. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to tell you first what I would prioritize just in general. So what I would prioritize just in general are basically these researches. Repel on premium armor, I think, is one of the, like, this is super good research. This is, if I go military 5, this is usually the first thing I research. It's just a passive generic bonus, and it's so good. Like 50 armor strength, it goes from 25 to 50 armor strength, which is huge. It gives a huge defensive power. So yeah, very, very nice. Definitely prioritize this. Also would prioritize, like, I have a bias for defensive stats. I think that the defensive stats are very good in general. I usually get defensive stats on my ships before getting the offensive stats just in general. Superior shield emitters, also very nice to get. More shield points, more defensive stats, makes your ship stronger in the attrition game. Would prioritize this for sure. Like, yeah, as a theme, like these generic upgrades that just increases your damage and durability, I think are very nice. Armored missiles, I'm not sure if this is a faction specific one, but I'm not sure. In any case, this is very strong if you have missiles. Refined propellants, and also the cyclotorite payloads, which gives missile weapon damage and autocannon weapon damage respectively, are also very nice. Just these generic damage upgrades that affect your entire fleet, always get these. These are very good. High order explosives, I think this is a faction specific one for primacy, but yeah. So yeah, repel on premium armor, very high priority. If you have a Titan, also get the Titan items, also very high priority. And after that, I would get the offensive, like generic offensive upgrades. They're very strong. Also, I would say quite high priority. Now, there are some situations where these could be outshined by the ones that I'm going into now. So we're going to look at safety override protocol, which I think is very, very cool. I don't see this used enough. But if you can get into tier 5 and you have a couple of star bases, this can be, yeah, I think this can catch a lot of people by surprise because you don't see it too often. So, yeah, I think this you should definitely take a look at this. I think you can actually fleet wipe a lot of people with this just because they don't expect it. So what it does is, well, for those of you who don't know, it gives your starbase the ability to self-destruct and deal a huge amount of damage to its surroundings, to all units in the area, including buildings, including your own ships, including the opponent's ships, of course. And it deals a huge amount of damage. It kills basically all frigates, and I'm not sure about the cruisers, the most tanky cruisers, but if it doesn't kill them, it brings them incredibly low to low health. Yeah, people have to fear this. This can be very devastating to the opponent running into. Also, the deploy Argonev unlock. I mean, this is super late game. I almost never get this. But if you can get it, I mean, why not, right? It's just another offensive tool. A fun thing you might not know is that, I mean, as you probably know, on planets where, on just planets, if you're not playing Enclave, the maximum starbase count, so the maximum amount of starbases that you can get on each planet is 1 starbase, of course. But around a star, this is quite interesting. Around the star, it's actually allowed to get. You're actually allowed to get 4 star bases. So if you get the deploy Argonev, then you can actually put 4 star bases around the system's star, which I think is quite funny. It almost never happens, but it's just a cool concept. It's just such a cool concept that I just felt like I had to say it. You can like have the star bases having star control, 4 of them standing there, just building ships, using the what's it called? It's 4 star bases standing there at the star, using ships building by the remote construction. So you build like 4 ships at a time from the star. Yeah, I just think it's a very cool vision. All right, well, a novolith range that's faction specific, so let's not get into that. All right, and we finally get to the Civilian 5 now. All right, now we get to this. So what do you prioritize once you get into Civilian 5? Well, I would say the largest priority, and one of the best researchers for tech right now, I think, at least when playing in larger people games where there's more players, is you want to get pervasive economy. I think pervasive economy is super powerful. Like the thing is, you're gonna generate more and more resources over the course of the game, right? But there's a mechanic in the game which, for those of you who don't know, actually taxes you for your resources. So once your earnings become higher and higher, you're progressively going to be taxed for your income, and it's going to display up here later as infrastructure cost. So that's basically, you're going to get taxed more and more for your increased income, which means that building economy actually has diminishing returns. However, pervasive economy, which, well, I'm just going to read it. It gives 20%. You earn 20% of all commerce credit income that other players make. So 20% of the commerce that other players generate, or the credits that other players generate, you're going to get. And if you're playing like with a lot of people, and you just have a few other tech players and perhaps 1 or 2 advent players in the game, this easily goes up to 50 credits per second, or like 40 to 50 credits per second, and sometimes even more. And you're not going to get taxed. From what I can see, you don't get taxed by this income. So if the 20% income from other players is a total of 50, then you're going to get 50 credits. No questions asked. You're not going to get taxed. You're not going to get scammed out of your money. Nothing. And this is going to give tech like a huge economic spike. And you're going to get so much credits. It's actually insane. You're going to go to the 150 credits per second, like no problem. And I would say that this technology is actually what sets tech apart as like a late game powerhouse when it comes to in terms of economy from the other races. Like tech has very good early game economy. They have the best early game economy for sure. But then I would say that the other races actually catch up a little bit towards the later stages of the game, because both Vasari's economy is the worst in the game, so they don't quite catch up still. But they still have very good mining technologies. But Advent actually does catch up with tech a little bit in the later stages of the game, because Advent can generate a lot of credits as well. And Advent has much better mining technologies than tech has. So Advent is going to outmine tech easily in terms of metal and crystal production. Tech is only going to have an advantage in terms of credits. So this is going to put Advent on like a quite even spot with tech economically towards the later stages of the game. And tech isn't like, they're not going to be like helpless economically in any way. However, once tech gets pervasive economy, their credit income is going to skyrocket so high usually that like it doesn't matter that Advent and Vasari gets more mining. Like you're gonna get so many credits, so much credits that it's not even gonna matter. Like it's a huge amount of credits. So it's really really insane. I would definitely get this as soon as you can whenever you go tier 5, especially at least if you have like a couple of players in the game which you know are having a decent credit income. Like if you're facing only Vasari players, don't get this. This only applies to credits, of course. You don't get 20% of the income in terms of mining and crystal and metal mining. So it only applies to credits. So keep that in mind. If you only have Vasaris, otherwise in your game, you don't want to get this. So yeah. Other than that, we have. Is there anything else that's high priority? Yeah, if you're playing, I can just say, if you're playing Primacy, I would probably prioritize the culture upgrades after this, just in general, regardless of whether you're playing Tech or like Tech Enclave or Tech Primacy. I think the culture upgrades are very, very good. Both of these upgrades are excellent. The culture propagation decay being reduced is going to give your culture rate a huge boost throughout the galaxy. Combined together with the navigation sub-channels, which is an upgrade from this thing that you get in tier 3. So in tier 3 you got familiar territory for max speed 5%. This bonus is not too great. While it's nice, it's not too great, but here in tier 5 you go up to 15% bonus movement speed in your friendly culture. And 50% bonus movement speed in your friendly culture is very significant. It is actually very significant. It makes your ships a lot faster. So yeah, this is very nice. So the culture upgrades here for tech in tier 5 are very, very good. You also get the development mandate. Like these tier 5 civilian technologies are super, super powerful in general, I think. I can just mention. You get extra civilian orbit slots on your Terran, Oceanic, and Desert planets, which can be very nice. To get some extra labs, get whatever that you need. And this should also not be ignored. Like, okay, now, since you got, like, say you want to produce like a shit ton of Ogrovs, sorry for swearing. Sorry, yeah, I don't usually swear, but yeah, now we're gonna say it. We're gonna get a shit ton of Ogrovs. You want to produce them very, very fast. You're gonna want to go for Industrial Juggernaut, because Industrial Juggernaut halves the build time of your ships. Yes, it halves it. Half build time. That is massive. If you have a lot of factories, you're gonna produce ships like never before and a lot faster than the other races. And this plays very nice into the archetype of the tech faction, which is you have worse technology, like in terms of military technologies, than the other races, but you're simply going to outproduce them, right? So this is a very nice upgrade to have. You want to have a ton of factories. You want to have this. You want to be producing ships non-stop. Of course, this doesn't apply to capital ships and titans, so you won't produce capital ships and titans faster, which in the late game might be what you want to do. So in the late game, you might want to be trying to spam more capital ships and more capital ships. And then this isn't going to help much, so keep that in mind. Or well, it's not going to help at all for that purpose, so keep that in mind. That this can be a little bit situational in that case, but I mean, getting Ogrovs, I haven't, as I said, yeah, I haven't tried them that much, but I think Ogrovs can actually be quite good. And if you want to spam Ogrovs, then Industrial Juggernaut might be very, very nice. Alright, so yeah, we got the culture. I think that pervasive economy is super, like, I would get this first every time. I think this is super high prio. After that, I would say the culture upgrades for both tech and for tech enclave and primacy. And then I would say these two, the Industrial Juggernaut and Development Mandate, depending on what you need. And lastly, we have this gas, like this upgrade for gas giants, which I think is it's a very interesting item, but I haven't really found any good applications for this yet. So what it does is basically, well, it gives you increased trade capacity for crystal, which I think is, well, not too impactful. Well, it's not very impactful at all. And what it does is it allows you to just passively produce Andvar. So you're gonna get Andvar every 3 minutes just for free if you have this item on your gas giant. And I believe you can get several of these per gas giant, so it's not limited to one of these per gas giant. I think you can get like four of these on a gas giant, and you will get 4 Andvar every 3 minutes, which it's a very interesting idea. But I'm not really sure how much you need Andvar, especially that much, especially if you already have like exotics refineries. And like you're tier 5, you research most things already. I'm not sure how much you need Andvar. Maybe if you want to get like star bases with items that require Andvar, but I'm not too sure. Well, in any case, the application for this item for me is not quite clear. So yeah, I would say this is very situational. I would skip this probably. All right, but yeah, that was a lot and a lot to go through. And I hope you didn't get bored out of your mind. I thought this was very fun, at the very least. And yeah, oh right, we're gonna go into the faction-specific researches. Oh wow, do I have the energy to do that now? I actually don't think I do. I might do it later, but for now, I think I actually don't have the energy to do the faction-specific research right away. I might complement the video with that, but in any case, yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna take another break and let's try to go into that as well a little bit quicker here this time. So see you. All right, and we are back for the final part where we're gonna discuss the faction-specific research. Now, I'm going to go into this using the save state here that I just had because I was primacy all the way. So let's just take a look at primacy first. And start off, we have extreme xenophobia in tier 1. Now, extreme xenophobia, I think, is very, very strong, but it's a bit counterintuitive because you get it as a tier 1 research and it's very, very cheap, which is good. But it's not very useful until the later stages of the game where you actually are against an opponent and you're both generating culture and you want to resist the opponent's culture. I mean, if you're generating your own culture, usually that's enough to resist the opponent's culture, all else equal. That might change like in the very late game when other factions are generating a lot of culture-specific research, which gives increased culture rate, or perhaps if they're even stacking a lot of broadcast centers or temples of communion or whatever on one planet, then culture resistance might be necessary. But again, culture resistance doesn't usually come in until later. In tier 2, we have Sordid Intel, which unlocks pirate raids share vision. Now, this is not very essential. You could skip this if it wasn't for the fact that this was necessary to get in order to get what comes later in tier 3, which is this. Truce Amongst Rogues. Truce Amongst Rogues unlocks the ability that pirates no longer attack you. So it makes you have permanent peace with the pirates. The pirates are not going to attack you. You can go through the pirate planet no problem without the pirates doing anything. And Truce Amongst Rogues is can be a super strong ability, I would say. So yeah, Sordid Intel is a requirement or a prerequisite for getting the Truce Amongst Rogues. So if you find yourself in a situation where you want to get Truce Amongst Rogues, get these two. But it depends, of course, if you have any reason to befriend the pirates. What else do we have in tier 2? We do have the black market suppliers, which gives a windfall of 2 Andvar and also some Andvar exotics build time reduction. Now, the main use of this, I think, is the windfall. Ironically enough, maybe later in the game, Andvar exotic build time could be a thing, but or could prove useful. But the windfall for 2 Andvar, I think, is the main use of this, and because getting 2 Andvar for free helps a lot for a lot of stuff. I mean, if you want to get these upgrades here, for example, with increased trade, those actually cost Andvar. And Andvar can be a bit tricky to get, which means that getting Andvar here for free is quite nice. It gives you both the ability to get this and also the fulfillment warehouse. It gives Andvar for that. And also if you're going more aggressive, I can actually cover that here. But if you're primacy, of course, you can get the gang of freebooters in tier 2 military. And to get those, you need Andvar. So if you're short on Andvar and you want to get the gang of freebooters, then if you have afforded for some reason or somehow, or in some situation to go tier 2 civic, then black market suppliers can offer you an easy way to get Andvar in order to get gang of freebooters fast for that super nice army boost. Okay, so that was tier 2. I don't think there's anything else in tier 2 for primacy. So let's see, is there anything in... Yeah, I apologize if I missed something here, by the way, but I'm gonna have to accept that. I don't think there's anything else in tier 3. We have the pirate raids, Share Vision. Do we have anything in tier 4? Doesn't look like it to me. Nothing specific in tier 4 for primacy. So that leaves us with the tier 5 technologies. Which is where the tier 5 technology, which is the insurgency. Oh, sorry, of course, we have the tier 5 technology here, which is the insurgency. And this unlocks the rebels, which means makes planets that are under your friendly empire's dominant culture be continuously attacked by rebels. So this is this is an insanely good. This is an insanely good research. You should, this makes primacy a super menacing force in the late game, and makes it so that enemy empires has to repel their culture basically, because it's just so annoying to be attacked by these raiding parties, and they're quite strong. They come in with quite a lot of supply. One thing that's interesting to note is that I noticed is that because I was very confused about this for a while, I was like, well, sometimes it seems like the insurgents spawn in with Krusovs, so with the bombing ships. And sometimes it seems like they do not. And I was like, what the heck is this? Why does it do? And it turns out, if my conclusion is correct, I actually researched it. It turns out, if my conclusion is correct, that if for the insurgents to spawn Krusovs that bomb planets, you actually have to have them researched. So yeah, it's that simple. Maybe you knew that already. I didn't know it. I just figured it out. So to get to the Krusovs with the insurgents, you actually have to have Krusovs researched, which is, well, if you're getting insurgency, you would basically always get Krusov research, because getting extra planet bombing with your insurgents is super OP. It does so much more because it threatens planets in that case. Okay, so that's the civilian research. For the military research, we have the gang of freebooters. Of course, if you can get the gang of freebooters, always get them. It's a super strong technology for primacy. Can be tricky to get an Andvar, but if you can get an Andvar, always get it. I don't see any reason not to, except for if it's like super late in the game for some reason, then the pirates might not be the best option, but like for the mid game, these are absolutely fantastic. We have the Center for Human Doctrine, an excellent plant item. It comes at tier 2. Always get this if you're like, always get this at your front planet. This is a very strong item that you should get on your front planet. Would place it in very high priority together with the gang of freebooters. Pillage War Chest. Insanely strong if you're going to bomb planets. This is what makes tech primacy such a menace to deal with. If you end up in a base trade situation with them, or if you allow them to bomb planets. Pillage War Chest snowballs extremely hard. You shouldn't allow tech primacy to bomb planets for free, or to try, or yeah, you basically want to avoid getting into a base trade situation with them at all costs because of this, because this can snowball super hard. But yeah, only get it if you expect that you're going to be able to bomb planets. Otherwise, it might be a waste. For tier 4, we have the pirate mercenary bases. The pirate mercenary bases got nerfed quite badly a while back. Instead of the pirate mercenaries cooldown costing 3,000 credits, it now costs 5,000, which is a huge difference. And it also didn't make any changes to the cost of the item itself. So to researching the item doesn't cost Andvar, except for the fact that you need to get the gang of freebooters first. But in order to like build this on one of your asteroids, you need to pay Andvar. So you need an Andvar. You don't need an Andvar to research this, other than to get the prerequisite gang of freebooters. But to get the item itself on the planet, you need Andvar. And I think you even need 2, which is huge. So 2 Andvar is a lot, actually. So and they also nerfed it so that the pirates spawning from the pirate mercenary bases don't like it just spawns 1 pirate pillager, so 1 pirate bomber that bombs planets, which is not great. Like one of the good things about the pirate mercenaries was the fact that you got like 2 or 3 pirate pillagers. So yeah, pirate mercenary bases are way over nerfed in my opinion. They should definitely do something to bring them back. I think they were perhaps a little bit strong, tiny bit too strong before the nerf, but they overdid it for sure. They need to do something about this. Either lower the cost of the call down for the pirates, or give them back a couple of pirate pillagers for each of their call downs, something like that. What else for tier 3? What else for tier 3? I don't think there's anything else for tier 3. For tier 4, I don't think there's any faction-specific research for tier 4. Oh, wait! There's actually the cool Novalith cannon. And this is super interesting. This is actually something that you don't see used too often. And I haven't gotten a chance to try this out too much yet, but now with the increased scaling of the late game economy, I can envision situations where this can be used. And yeah, the end game for this, which is very fun, is if you can get multiple Novalith cannons on a bunch of different planets, and you put them all on autocast, and then you can just watch them rain down hell on the enemy. So you can see a rain of Novalith warheads flying across the galaxy. Yeah, that's very, very nice. So But yeah, this is a super late game thing for sure, and perhaps not something that you want to prioritize too early. So yeah. Then we have the Titan unlock. I'm not going to talk too much about that. We have the Titan research and also the Titan items. That's our unique research, but doesn't really matter. For now, I think you get the idea. We got the Novalith range upgrades. If you have a bunch of Novalith cannons, this is of course essential to get, but that's presuming you have Novalith cannons. Higher order explosives, higher autocannon weapon damage. I think this is only for primacy. Yep, definitely get this if you can. Super good. More damage, more good. Yes. Let's go. Okay, so now we're gonna move over to Enclave. See you there. And there we go. Now we have an Enclave research tree up and running. So let's start with tier 1. First we have Fortification Specialist. This is a bit like the Extreme Xenophobia in that I think this is very, very strong, but it isn't strong for when you can build it. Like, you get this already at tier 1, but it's good first in later stages of the game when you have the economy and the desire to get more defense points on your planet. And I think getting defense points on planets is very underrated. I don't see people getting enough defense points on planets. It's super important. It's like, yeah, having planets with higher health is like such a good thing, because it makes it so much more annoying for like it makes it so difficult for your opponent to be annoying and trying to bomb your planets. It just gives you so much space to react to stuff. Planet health is very good, and just also in general, defense points per building defense on your planets is very nice. So yeah, this is good, very, very nice, very, very strong, but not something to prioritize until the later stages of the game. Counter deployment, also very, very powerful. Usually I just get this as soon as I see that my opponent is attacking me, and usually that's enough. I don't get this just by default. I never get this just by default. So yeah, it reduces the build time of ships by 50% when the enemy is in your gravity well. And this only affects the factories that are this only affects factories that are in the same gravity well as the enemy ships. So if you have if you're being attacked at a planet far out in your system, and the enemy has and you have your factories at your homeworld, then the homeworld factories are not going to get the bonus because there's no enemy ships there. You need to have the enemy ships in the same gravity well as your factories for this effect to take place. So keep that in mind. But the bonus is very powerful. It allows you to build ships very fast when you're being attacked. And usually you can just get this as a reaction. So if you notice you're being attacked, you just press this. You move. Yeah. So let's say you're researching stuff like this, and you see you're being attacked. You press this. You pull it to the front of the priority, and you research it right away. So, and usually that's enough, because the research time for this is just tier 2. It's quite slow. It's quite fast still. All right, and we get to tier 2. I think that's everything for tier 1. So let's get to tier 2. I don't think there's anything relevant in tier 2. Okay, that's good. Let's go to tier 3. Is there anything relevant in tier 3? Can't see anything. I hope I'm not missing something, but yeah, let's go over to tier 4 then. All right. Okay, so we have War Measures Act. Yeah, this is very good. This is very good research. So what this does is it gives you a bonus to your commerce rate based on how low of a supply count you have. So if you're at 0 supply, you're going to get 50% bonus commerce credit income rate. Very, very powerful. It's basically a bounce back mechanic, and also like a trading mechanic. So yeah, well, it's supposed to encourage you to kind of push your ships in to trade and then rebuild. So it feeds in a little bit to this massive production archetype that tech has going for it, where you want to have like worse tech, where you have worse technologies than your opponents, like Vasari and Advent, but you have much better economy and production. So this feeds into that. It encourages rebuilding your ships. And I think that's it, unless I missed something for the civilian tree. So let's go over to the military tree, where I think most of the Enclave-specific upgrades are. So for military here, the first thing we can notice is the garrisons. We can talk about the garrisons in conjunction. Garrisons are very strong. Garrisons are very strong right now. They buffed garrisons so that the garrisons no longer, like the researching garrisons requires spending Endurium, so the gray exotic, and also upgrading the garrisons requires the gray Enduriums, but actually getting the item doesn't require Endurium anymore. So that is massive for garrisons. Garrisons are very, very nice now to get. You don't want to just like rush them without getting any complementary fleet, but yeah, man, garrisons are super powerful right now. They might even be a tad too powerful, in my opinion. It's not a catastrophe or anything like that, I don't think. But I still think garrisons might be a tad bit too powerful still. So yeah, if you have the opportunity to set up garrisons, I mean, that's the weakness of them, is they take quite a while to set up. But once they're set up, they are very, very strong indeed. So yeah. Do we have anything more in tier 2? Let's see. No. We have... Oh, here we go. We have a tier 3. We have the specific item for the planet, specific item for Enclave, which is a Home Guard outpost. It gives the reduced damage taken by 15% around the planet and the adjacent gravity wells to the planet, which has this item. Now, comparing this to the primacy specific plant item, this gives bonus defense, while the primacy plant item gives bonus attack damage, and movement speed. And this plant item comes in tier 3, so it's a tier above where the primacy item comes. You can get the primacy plant item already in tier 2, so that's a big disadvantage for the Home Guard outpost. However, the Home Guard outpost is definitely a little bit stronger item, I would say. Mainly because defensive stats scale incredibly well in this game. Like having a strong attrition game in Sins 2 is very, very nice. So it's justifiable that this plant item comes in tier 3 instead of tier 2, I would say. And if you can pick this up, I would prioritize it very, very heavily, especially if you have like expect to be fighting in a particular area around your planet. This is very, very important to get. 15% reduced damage is huge. We got the garrison upgrades. We talked about the garrisons. If you have garrisons and you want to if you already have garrisons, then upgrading them is of course super nice. And heavy garrisons could be nice, but only if you already are researched. Are heavily researched into like the cruiser technologies, then heavy garrisons can be a nice addition as well. Definitely get it if you can. It's very strong and gives you a lot of ships for free. All right, next we have compartmentalization, which gives just reduced cost for your star-based items. Now, this is not something that you get often, and it's not something I would prioritize too early as well. But like now with late game economy scaling better, and you actually having the opportunity to have a lot of money in the late game, again, I think getting star bases has become more useful because usually you can get like extra star bases without sacrificing too much fleet power. And like in the super late game, you can start getting items on your star bases even, and then I think this can become very, very strong. So I think this has super strong, super strong research, but only like super late game. So keep that in mind. Nothing special here for Tech Enclave. We're going into here. I don't see anything in particular here that's special for Tech Enclave as well, except for the Titan and respective items. I'm not going to talk about that. I think that says itself. We got garrison augmentation, which gives 500 garrison supply. This is super huge. I think, yeah, garrisons together with this research, which is Twin Fortresses, is what makes like Tech Enclave have a super insanely powerful late game potentially. Like Tech Enclave has one of the strongest late game potentials out of any faction, I think, because not only can they get like a 2k fleet, they can complement with 2 star bases per each planet in their gravity wells, and they can also get garrisons on each of their planets for like 500 free supply. It's like it's completely ridiculous how much value that is. Of course, and getting it is a huge investment. So it's not just something you can just poke that. It's not something you can just wrap. What do you call it? You can bring up by will or bring up just you just bring up. But if you can set this up, it is like a late game powerhouse in the highest of levels. So Tech Enclave with this defensive combination is a late game monster. Yeah. Okay, so that's that for the research tree breakdown, and I hope you enjoyed watching this long video. It was way longer and more expansive than I ever thought it was going to be, but I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you had a lot of fun watching it, or at least the parts of it that you did watch. If you stayed this long, thank you so much for appreciating this content and supporting me. It's really nice to have people getting all these nice comments on my videos. I really enjoy it, and I'm happy to be back bringing you a video after a while here, or after a short break of not making videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next video.